What's up, YouTube? Back here again with another video, and we're going to continue. Here's part 3 of the Rotor Riot Hypertrain motor build, alright? If you watched the last video, which I hope you did, or else this might not make no sense, we have all 4 ESCs hooked up, I have my receiver hooked up, I have this capacitor and the XT60 connected, and we're all good. Next step I always do is a continuity check. I got my field piece, right? I have it on continuity. So when they touch, and I stick it right in to the XT60 connector, and boom, we're good. So if I touch, see we're in the negative pad here. If I touch positive, nothing, negative, beeps. So we're good. We're good. Meaning that we shouldn't have any major shorts. Now the next thing I do before I get to the camera system or anything else, make sure your receiver has to be bound, alright? That's kind of on you. Make sure your receiver is bound to your transmitter. That's not covered here. There's other videos for that. Next thing I like to do, I plug into the flight controller, which I already done. I get everything set, S-Bus, on the right UART and all that other stuff. Again, you have to check your manual and your different thing for that. If you have the Matek F405 and you're using FrSky S-Bus, it's already set up for you. Connect to your S-Bus pad here, like we did in the last video. S-Bus, 5-volt ground, and it's already going to be set up for you as far as your serial receiver and on the correct UART. Alright, so we have all that. The next thing I'm going to do here is plug this guy in, right? Power it all up. Alright, awesome. Everything powered up. The lights are flashing correctly. Now I can arm it. Again, you're going to have to select your arming and all in your modes on Betaflight. I'm going to arm it. I'm going to make sure that all the motors are spinning the right way with my finger. That's good, that's good, that's good, that's good. Again, the diagram is in Betaflight. If you followed my original wiring diagram, you'll have 2 motors spinning the opposite direction. Now what I did is, if you see here, see how these 3 are even? See how these 2 are now switched. You can switch 2 wires, so this one and this one were spinning backwards. I switched 2 wires, now they're spinning in the right direction. Or you can use the BLHeli software on your computer and switch it that way. This is the way I chose for now. It works. Now we can move on to the next step. So take the battery out. And turn off your transmitter. Alright, now I want to heat shrink all this different heat shrink I have on here. Now you want to make sure that all the wires are covered. I'm going to shrink this for the little piece for the capacitor. Make sure that's nice and tight. Should be pretty good. Now we're going to work on each ESC. Alright, that's shrunk. Make sure that the piece of heat shrink is covering all the wires. Now you can use a hair dryer, you can use a heat gun, whatever you use, just make sure you take your time and don't overheat. Don't put any unnecessary heat on here than you have to. Alright, last one. Alright, good to go. Now, we're nice and heat shrunk and nice and protected, so we won't have any problems. Now what I'm going to do is we're going to move on to connecting the camera and getting this all wires connected and all hooked up, and the VTX. So here's the camera, and here's my Matek VTX. Now, what I had a thought of doing here, I kind of rolled these wires up. What I want to do is I want to put this VTX right here. Alright, now the connections on this one are up here in the front. So what I want to try to do, and the UART for the smart audio or the smart telemetry for this or the smart control is on the back. So I have my smart wires pulled back, and then I have all the other wires are going to go up to the camera and to the pad. I kind of twisted them together, and I'm going to try to work them up towards the front here. So I really wanted to try to keep this build as clean as I can. And if you paid attention on the first ones, I put the receiver off to one side, so it gave me, hopefully it gave me enough space to kind of run this through. Alright, getting it over here. Let's see if we can't pull it through the rest of the way. Guide them in. Alright. There we go. Alright, so now we got all our wires for our camera and our connection, which is here on the front. Now what I want to do with this VTX is I'm going to double side sticky tape this. Let's get these, let's get these up out of the way so we don't get these caught anywhere. Alright. Take a little piece of this 3M tape. We're going to put this on here. Again, if you want to see how to wire up the Matek VTX, I'll leave a link in the description for that video. Just real quick, you can see exactly what you need to wire up and where you need to connect it. And you can learn that. Alright, so I'm going to sink this in nice and tight. Right here. Alright, awesome. Now, that's stuck right there. Now this will loop around like this and get zip tied right here with the stubby antenna. Okay, so that's what that spot's for. That should be fine. Alright, so we're just going to leave that back here. And come up to the front now. The Matek board for the camera is only going to take the positive. Yeah, I think I'm going to leave these this length. So I'm just going to use my fingers here. Alright. A couple of these are a little longer than I like. Alright. And then for the audio for this, I'm going to have to connect that straight to the camera. Because not every camera has audio, but this Foxeer camera does. So I'm going to try to use it and see what's what. Alright, so positive or neutral, we got negative. Here's our positive, here's our video. And then we're going to prep our pads. Here's our camera, video, ground, 5 volt. Alright. We're going to take this and we're going to start the same way. Camera. And I'm really liking these top mount batteries. It kind of gives you more freedom below to kind of run things underneath. So, oh no, we got ground next. So you kind of can clean up your build. Got ground. And 5 volt. Alright. I'm going to add a little solder to that because I don't like it. I don't think that joint was good enough. Alright, let's see. Alright, there we go. So now we can kind of leave those right there. And the next thing we need to do, let's get our camera, mount it up. And like I said, I had to grind these down. Again, it's something you're going to have to like kind of investigate and determine what you need to do for your build. But I'm going to use the middle screws here. Okay. Other side. And again, you can kind of decide, you got to just play around and see where you want your camera to sit. Okay. There we go. We got full motion here. Beautiful. Now we're going to bring in our wire. Now the way Runcam does this, they kind of leave everything on one harness here for your OSD controller and all that good stuff. So we're going to tuck this in here. This is going to get tucked down here. We're just going to leave that. And then we're going to cut this back probably around here. Again, we're going right here, and I'm going to leave a little extra wire. Now, if we look at this wiring loom here, I'm going to kind of untwist it so I can see what's what. And we'll retwist it up once we pull out what we need and what we don't need. So I know that this is going to be my positive. Here's the ground, video, audio, and then this is the voltage. I'm not going to use this on this build, so we're going to clip this back here, leaving just a little bit of wire in case I want to reattach it or use it. So that would be if you were using OSD, the OSD controller from here for your voltage sensor, that's what you would use. So now I'm going to twist these up down here. Kind of clean these up. Now, this one is going to go somewhere different. Alright. So, pull this. Stripping with my fingers again. You don't need a whole lot of wire, so I'm going to shorten these a little bit. Okay. Now I can prep these guys. And we're going to prep.
Alright, so these three wires are going to go to the 5-volt ground and camera input. I actually ended up putting them in the wrong spot, which wasn't a major deal, just no video came through and I had to switch them around, but make sure you get them in the right spot. One side's labeled cam, one side's labeled VTX, and then you'll have no problem. But yeah, so that pretty much covers the end of this part. So stay tuned for the rest, and hopefully we'll get this sucker finished up at some point. But we'll get the camera connected and get this thing finished up. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.